Hello and welcome to the following on cricket podcast. Sam Ellard, Steve Harmison with you today on the back of day one of the third and final test match between England and Pakistan. A day that started really well for England because they won the toss and they decided, no surprise, to have a bat. And after the first hour at 56 without loss, it was going along very nicely for England. But 56 without loss very quickly became 98 for 5 and 118 for 6. England in trouble, but then step up Jamie Smith. What an innings it was from the Surrey keeper, who made 89 from 119 balls. The knock included 6 sixes. He took his time to get going, then really accelerated. Well supported by Gus Atkinson, a Surrey teammate, who made 39. England bowled out on day one for 267 with the ball. Pakistan closing day one on 73 for 3, a wicket each for Bashir, Leach and Atkinson. So that means Pakistan at 73 for 3, trailing England by 194 runs. It was another captivating day of test match cricket. Lots to get into then on the following on cricket podcast with talkSPORT. Steve Harmison, hello, my friend. I don't know what you made of it all, but I thought that was another gripping day of test match cricket where it ebbed and flowed.
Yeah, it was a good day. It was a good day for England, who I think are ahead of the game just. A great toss to win from Ben. Well, look, at lunchtime, it's a great toss to win because it looks as though it's, what Pakistan are trying to do, and I don't blame them for doing this, trying to have a pitch which is going to force a result. They've not won, before the second test in Rawalpindi. They hadn't won for many months in Pakistan. So because of that, they need to try and find a way of sorting a pitch out which suits them. And if they're going to play 4 spinners, they need a pitch which is going to turn. It's slow at this minute in time. It will spin quickly later on. But if you get a pitch like this, it's so important that you win the toss, capitalise with the bat. But England got a bit of a low par score. But I think because of the way the pitch is, I see this pitch as a starting on day one as probably as a day 3 pitch. So by the end of sort of day 3, day 4, this could be nigh on impossible to bat on. So I think all in all, even though England probably looking at 300 to 320 as a par score, as long as Pakistan and England start brilliantly, as long as Pakistan don't get 400, then I still think England are firm favourites to win the game. When Pakistan have got 7 wickets in hand, England 194 in front, and it's been, I think, all in all, a good day for English cricket, the England cricket team.
Tommy, I think we knew this before this test match anyway, that Jamie Smith is a pretty special talent. I thought the way he paced his innings today was magical, coming to the crease at 98 for 5. You mentioned the pitch being tricky to bat on. What I thought was amazing about when he came to the crease, it looked like he was batting on a different wicket to everybody else. He just looked so cool, so calm, so composed, so well organised when he first arrived. He got himself in, and then really accelerated. And we all know Ben Foakes is such a great keeper, but Ben Foakes brings to the team amazing glove work, but this innings is sort of the innings that Ben Foakes, it felt like, was unable to play with the lower order, and kind of one of the main reasons why Jamie Smith came into the team, because 5 down in trouble, Smith can play this sort of innings that maybe that Ben Foakes can't. Is that fair, Homie?
Yeah, it's fair. I think it is. It's fair. I think there's a lot of people been looking for this innings. There was an innings at the start of the summer, 1 or 2 innings during the summer, where you were looking and going, well, this is why we brought this kid in. Then the selectors have been vindicated because of, and I think this was probably the one that's rubber stamped that Jamie Smith. And the beauty about it for me was, yes, I agree with everything you said on what I think his demeanour was like when he came to the crease, but the way he learnt from how. You look at some of the decisions, some of the dismissals. Crawley's was a poor shot. Duckett's was a nearly impossible ball to play, but if he's playing with a straight bat, he's got more chance of hitting it. There was a couple of balls at the end of the day off both of Jack Leach and off Joe Root that exactly the same balls that Ben Duckett got, but because Shan Masood was playing with a straight bat, he managed to get something on it. Hoping, Root got one that indecision on the crease. Brook, Hope, Stokes, playing sort of two right-handers playing sweep shots. Ben Stokes playing with a sort of 45 angle degree bat. That was what was going to get you in trouble on this surface. And it will get you in trouble until this test match finishes. But the one thing Jamie Smith and Gus Atkinson did brilliantly was just play straight down the ground. Nicely down the ground. Hit the ball straight down the ground. In forward defence, you've seen the full stickers of the bat. You've seen the full face of the bat. And it was a case of, well, if you set a field down the ground and stop me from scoring, then fine, I'll just try and hit it over the top. But if I'm going to hit over the top, I'm going to hit over the top of your fielders, as opposed to trying to hit it in the gaps. The first time, really, Jamie Smith tried to hit the big one across the line is when he got out. And that, for me, shows, as well as what you're saying, and being cool and calm, and his demeanour was good, because I think he learned from the first 5 of getting out this way, I can't play that cross bat shot. I can't play the angle bat shot because this surface is going to get me into trouble. I'm just going to try and hit it down the ground on the floor. And if they put a fielder there, I'm going to hit it over the top of them. And that, I think, was what he did brilliantly in that innings. His keeping's been, I think, has been very, very good throughout his test career.
Yeah, one poor innings in the last test. That was it, wasn't it?
Yeah, but he's dropped a couple. He's missed a stumping. Who cares? Ben Foakes did that as well. I just think you look at it at this decision that was made, and you can see why they wanted to get him in early, and you can see why they give him. It's a huge amount, big confidence booster, and a huge amount of confidence given from Ben and from Brendan and from Rob Key, Luke Wright, is to say, right, we're not going back to what we had before, which is horses for courses, this keeper on these surfaces. You're our man. We believe that you give far too much from the bat and the overall stuff. We're gonna trust you in Pakistan. You might miss a couple. Who cares? Just go out and play a natural game with a bat. And he might have just played an innings. That maybe he's winning the series for him.
Harmy, just looking a bit further ahead, not sure if you've done a following on cricket podcast since the news broke, but Jamie Smith's going to miss the series in New Zealand, isn't he? Because his other half is having a baby. But interesting that Jordan Cox, who's in this squad as a spare bat, is going to keep and take the gloves and go at 7 in New Zealand. Just sort of your thoughts on that and how you kind of see the dynamic moving forward. I don't want to keep mentioning him because I really like him and I don't think his position in the team should be under fire. But you almost feel like if Jordan Cox goes well at 7, does that then put more pressure on Ollie Pope? Because Jamie Smith's obviously always going to come straight back in. We know Jordan Cox had a great season for Essex. It then sort of feels like if he does get runs, that puts pressure on Ollie Pope maybe?
It does, unfortunately, for Ollie. There's always question marks on his position. It's whether Jamie Cox could bat at Jordan Cox can bat at number 3. That would be the big $1 million question.
That's 4 for Essex, doesn't he?
Yeah, he bats. Yeah, and I've got no doubt. I think he could bat at 3. I think we're following on Monday. And it was just before the announcement that it came. I think Keezy must have been listening to us. I've not spoken to Keezy for a while, so I must have been listening.
You and him are always texting, aren't you, Keezy? Get this one in, get that one out. Come on.
No, I don't think he must listen to this sometimes because he keeps having a go at me because of what I've been saying. But no, I said on Monday that if I was England, I'd leave Jamie Smith out of the whole series. That would be his break. Being a father for the first time is huge. I mean, to go home and miss a test match and come back to New Zealand would be such a massive ask for a young man, especially with the emotions that he's going to have back here. I mean, his body will not know what day it is, never mind anything else. So I think it's a sensible move. I think it's a very, very smart move from McCullum and Stokes in Key. I think when you come to the dynamics of Cox coming in, he gives you a good opportunity and a good eye to have a look at somebody standing back, because that would be if it was this series and it was happening, you'd probably say, right, we can get him in and out, miss one test match, and it wouldn't cost us much. You might even just say Ollie Pope keep wicket, Ben Ducker keep wicket for the game. But when you go to somewhere like to New Zealand, it's not as alien as
more normal. Yeah.
More normal. You're standing back. You got a potential of a chance that a broken finger for Smith in the summer or in the winter, next winter, you're going to be playing in England and in Australia. So it's not as though it's going to be a culture shock for Cox to have to keep wicket in the subcontinent. So it makes sense. It's a no-brainer. I'm intrigued to see if he goes to the West Indies now. Goes and plays in the White Ball series.
He is.
So
He and Rayan Ahmed. England announced this morning, didn't they? He and Rayan
yeah,
Ahmed are going to go, and I think Jordan Cox is flying back today to London for a few days, and then he's
and
going to
then
go off
going
to the
on.
Caribbean. Yeah, and I think he'll then leave the
Yeah,
Caribbean early to go to New Zealand. It's all
go
just
to New
crazy, isn't
Zealand.
it? But you know.
He'll have no idea what day it is by the time he gets to New
But what an
Zealand.
opportunity, right? Because he's going to get
It's a good
he's
opportunity.
going to
You're
play
right.
Test cricket, and I'm sure he'll play a lot of white ball cricket the next couple of weeks. A real opportunity for him in all formats to really make an impression, right?
He has. He's got a great chance of being able, and it'll be about how he scores his runs as well. You know, if he stands there and technically and he's hitting the ball straight, playing the ball down the ground, and he's aggressively in the front of the wicket, then as a number three, try to pick a number three if you're looking at probably the most vulnerable player that's in the team at this minute in time, not scoring runs. Because let's be fair, you know, other than Joe Root, you know, Harry Brook got a massive score in the game in Multan in the first Test match. I think we're still to set the world alight in our top, our five of our top six against the quality opposition. And I think if Cox goes and shows that, you know, he scores the ball down, hits the ball down the ground well, and he's good in sort of, you know, hitting the ball straight, and that's what you want from your number three. You know, you want your number three to be playing on the straight bat, not playing, you know, away from his body. Then all of a sudden, you might have a position of strength when you go, well, if such and such is not performing, we've got somebody that not only can keep wicket and bat at number 7, he can potentially bat higher up, and that is probably the beauty about Jamie Cox. I keep calling him Jamie Cox. That was Australian batter. Jordan Cox coming into the team or potentially challenging somebody in the top in the top 6. And that's a positive for England.
Harmy, with the ball for Pakistan today, Sajid Khan was in the wickets once again. He got 6 for 128. And when this series is all said and done, I'm really gonna miss him because not just is he a clever bowler, but he's a real character, isn't he, Harmy? I've never seen a spin bowler want to sort of get into it as much with the batsman. He bowl a ball and he's got this stare, hasn't he, where he'll sort of almost come charging down the wicket, almost like he's ready to have a scrap. I mean, he's great to watch. He's a great character. His celebrations, bonkers. We need to get him. I'm not sure if he speaks English, but we need to get him on the Following On Cricket podcast. But have you ever seen a spin bowler bowl and then almost sort of follow through like a fast bowler and proper try and stare out the batsman?
Yeah, there's one or two have done it. Not to great success, to be fair. Murray did it brilliantly, but he wasn't aggressively towards it. Them eyes just glared at you anyway, and he was good.
Warney wasn't got more intent, hasn't he? He knows what he's doing. You can tell he's sort of like, he wants to get in. Yeah, sure.
Warney wasn't shy when he got halfway down. Yeah, I remember. I mean, they're two unbelievable bowlers in Warner Murray, but I remember a few years ago, Danish Canaria having a real go at us. And then when we get him over to England, I mean, if I was a fast bowler playing in this game, I'd be looking at Sajid Khan and going, I'm going to get you eventually. I'm coming for you, and I will get you eventually. If you come over to England in the next series, I don't think you'll be looking like that at me. I remember a couple of times that, I mean, Shaheen Afridi and Danish Canaria giving you both barrels. And then when you get them at Old Trafford or you got them at Lord's, they weren't quite as forceful with their glare and their stare.
Talk now, lads. Talk now, boys.
Exactly, especially when you had when they had the bat in their hand. So yeah,
were you bowling a couple of bumpers at them, Harmy?
What goes around comes around, Samuel, in this game.
Were you bowling a couple of bumpers at Dinesh coming down, having a little look, saying welcome to England, pal?
I don't think I needed to. I think the 7 batters that were bounced out before that spoke very, very loudly for what was going to happen to the tail enders when they came in, especially at Old Trafford. Monty was bowling bouncers at Old Trafford. That's how bouncy the wicket was.
Very good.
So, but you get characters like that. You're right. I've really enjoyed watching them bowl. I think Noman Ali's been excellent as well. Is a good foil for him. Pakistan have got a chance here. Pakistan have got to go and put a big score on tomorrow. You've got Shan Masood at the crease. He'll want to score and he'll want to contribute in a series win. He's had his first win as captain. He's had they've turned the corner a little bit. There's been a lot of controversy. It's a massive morning for Shan Masood. If Pakistan come out tomorrow morning and bat well, and you've got to get over 300. If England get a lead in this first innings, it's game over. There's no way for me Pakistan can win from there because of what happens on that fourth innings and where the game will go to from that point of view. So Pakistan need to get 300 plus. If they get bowled out for 300, 320, I think it's an even game. I think because it's not going to be chasing 220, 240 in the fourth innings. You're probably going to be looking at 180, and that's what the pitch has done England a favour because of the lower total that they've got. So it's important that Pakistan. But England, though, Atkinson bowled really well, bowled at the stumps. I thought England spinners bowled a good line, an aggressive line, which I really enjoyed. I thought Jack went round the wicket to get. He went round the wicket to get the wicket of which wicket did he get? He got the wicket of Saeem Ayub, and it was a good ball. It was a good ball in a good area, and he got caught on the crease and just chipped it to Joe Root. But then he stayed on that line for left-handers, and I just thought he got a bit too straight onto leg stump and got clipped far too easily. So that might be something to work on tomorrow morning. Come out and pick a different line, but I think all in all, England are in a very, very good position. But yeah, I wouldn't want to be chasing a big score, 150, 200 again, like in Multan. And I think it could be difficult for the team back and forth. So I think a low par score, but because of where the wicket is on day one, I still think England are massively in this game.
Final question, Harmy. There's been so much talk about the wicket in this series. This wicket in particular. How it played today, do you think this is a good test match wicket? Because the Ben Duckett wicket in particular got a lot of people upset. A ball that, for those who haven't seen it, a ball that kept really, really low, barely hit him on the ankle to one of the spinners very, very early on. But maybe aside from that dismissal, in terms of the way it's playing, in terms of spin, as a guy that's played a lot of test cricket, you're passionate about your test cricket, is this a good test match wicket?
It's better than what they've had. I don't think it's a good test match pitch, no. But to contradict what I'm saying there is, it's better than what they've had. I'd much rather this pitch spinning on day one than it not spinning on day 5 in Multan. And I think that for me, that would be the spectacle I'd rather see. I'd rather see a slow turner on day 1 than a no turner on day 5. So
sure.
I think I don't think it's a great test match pitch in the grand scheme of things. This is what you'd want in this part of the world. I think in years gone by, the good Pakistan pitches, the good India pitches, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka pitches, when you go over there, this is normally this is nighttime day 2, nighttime early day 3, when it gets to the point where Duckett was dismissed. So you can then put up with, if Duckett got dismissed, that ball, second innings 15 years ago, on day 3, when both teams have had a go on it, people would be shouting from the rooftops going, here we go. Come on, lads, it's gone. The pitch is gone. I mean, they would. They'll be going, it's gone along the floor. It's gone through the top. The game's going to go into fast forward after having 2 good days on a flat one. That's the perfect pitch. And they haven't been there. Pakistan haven't been there in recent times. They've been flat, flatter, and flatter again. So as much in the grand scheme of things, long term, it probably is not ideal. But I think from where Pakistan pitches have been, the amount of defeats they've had, the confidence that they're at, this is not a bad pitch for Pakistan to come in and say, right, we'll have a go and see if we can win a game with 4 spinners, because that's our game plan. I understand that.
Harmy, thank you. Lots to get through, and I'm sure when we speak this time tomorrow, the game would have moved on a hell of a lot. So good man, Harmy, and I'll chat to you tomorrow.
Yes, Sam.
Good man. So England, 267 bowled out for today, first innings. Pakistan will resume tomorrow morning, 73 for 3, trailing England by 194. And also a reminder, live commentary on talkSPORT 2 and on talkSPORT Cricket's YouTube channel of the second test between India and New Zealand. New Zealand 1-0 up. They made 259 today, batting first against India, who closed on 16 for 1. You've been listening to the Following On Cricket podcast.
On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.